Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining our sustainability chat featuring the La Crosse area Habitat for Humanity ReStore. I'm Casey Meehan. I'm the Director of Sustainability and Resilience at Western Technical College in La Crosse, Wisconsin. And I also work alongside Carrie Thompson, who's behind the scenes here uh, with the Sustainability Institute to produce programming for the organization. The Sustainability Institute is a 501c3 organization located in La Crosse with the mission of celebrating sustainability efforts in our area. And we want to help people paint a positive vision of what a sustainable future looks like in the Driftless region. So before we get going here, a few matters of housekeeping. In order for this all to run smoothly, please keep your cameras off and your microphones muted. We will be monitoring the chat box. So if you have a question or concern, please type it in there and Carrie and I will see it. To access that, if you look on the Zoom control panel, there should be a little conversation bubble, and that's what you click on to get that chat box. There are parts of the tour today that were pre-recorded, and they might be a little bit on the quiet side. So you may want to consider using some headphones to hear a little bit better, especially if you are in a place with a lot of background noise. And finally, this chat will be recorded and will be available on the Sustainability Institute website within a day or two. If you've never been to one of our sustainability chats, and I suspect some of you haven't, we've seen some new names come across today that we haven't seen before. The general plan is that after a short intro, our guests take us on a 25-minute journey or so, virtual journey, and tour of their organization, and then that's followed by about 10 minutes of Q&A. So if you have a question, again, please type it into that chat box, and we'll feed them to our speaker at the end of the tour. So sustainability is sometimes miscast as simply being creating a clean environment. It is that, of course, but it's also so much more. Sustainability is about helping all people thrive. And to do that, we need more than just a healthy planet. We need to address systemic inequities. We need to make sure everyone has food to eat. We need to make sure people have decent jobs and access to resources like clean water and affordable energy. And that can feel really overwhelming, right? There's a lot to do. But the good news is that the world has a plan for this. In fact, in 2015, 193 nations around the world, including the US, agreed to the UN Global Goals, which are a set of 17 interconnected goals meant to address some of the world's most pressing challenges, including poverty, inequity, the loss of biodiversity, and climate change. And we at the Sustainability Institute base our programming off of these global goals. We believe that all of us as individuals and as the organizations that we're part of and the governments that we're part of have a role to play in bringing about success for those goals that our organizations are best equipped to advance. And we believe that working towards one goal can lead to progress in all the other goals. So today, we're really excited to connect with Habitat for Humanity ReStore in La Crosse. Well, they certainly address several of the goals that you see on your screen right now. Perhaps the most obvious goal that they address is number 12, which is responsible consumption and production. And this goal might really appear vague. How can we actually operationalize that, this goal in a non-jargony, people-centered way? Well, I think we can, and it's simply to live better, right? We waste less, fill our lives with experiences and friends and not stuff. And most importantly to the ReStore, it's reduce and repair and reuse and recycle. So it turns out this is exactly what the ReStore does, and how the ReStore helps us live better. So the Habitat ReStore has been in La Crosse for about 15 years now. They're located out by the county landfill. And through their efforts, they have diverted well over 6 million pounds of construction and household materials from the landfill. They then resell these items at a low cost to people doing their own home remodels or updates. So it's really a win-win. Now, before we get going, we want to hear a little bit from you. What are you most interested in learning about regarding today's session at the ReStore? And so you'll see a poll in front of you. If you could take just a few seconds to answer those questions. All right, great. So it looks like most people have submitted some answers here. And you can see the results. Most people, looks like 72% are interested in learning about the Reclaim program. Other popular choices here are the solar panels and the in-store recycling program. And about half of you have visited the ReStore. Great, thank you so much for sharing that information with us. So today we are joined by Steve Baker. He is the manager of the La Crosse Area Habitat ReStore, and he is responsible for the day-to-day operations of the ReStore and leading his staff, in addition to 35 regular volunteers. In his 13 years as a manager, Steve has helped the store to really become a showcase for sustainability around La Crosse. Not just, so highlighting that sustainability isn't just part of their mission, but it's actually how they operate. It's a really fantastic place. So please help me in virtually welcoming Steve Baker to Sustainability Chats.
Okay. Do I get to be on camera or do I get to hide?
We'll put you on camera, Steve.
Oh, lucky me. Good thing I showered today. Thank you, Casey. Let's see here. Oh, asked you to start my video. All right. Try it again. Does that work? Okay, as Casey mentioned, I've been running the ReStore in La Crosse since 2008. I actually started the first store in Minnesota back in 2003. So I've kind of been doing this for a long time, and I remember learning about it back when I was at Twin Cities Habitat in a different capacity, this concept of ReStore, and I just fell in love with it almost immediately. Driving myself all the way across the country to hear someone speak about this idea of ReStores. So here we are today. The La Crosse ReStore has been in operation now since 2008. I want to tell you just a little bit about how this presentation is going to kind of work here. It's a little different than anything I've ever done. I'll do a little bit of live speaking. The ReStore is open today. And it has been crazy. So we've got some pre-recorded bits. I chose 4 of them for the presentation today. And then I'll speak kind of in between. And then at the end, I have a little prezi on some of the sustainability programs specifically going on at the ReStore. Habitat ReStore is part of Habitat for Humanity, which is an international affordable housing organization. They operate all over the world and in La Crosse since the early 1990s. We are currently building 2 homes on the south side of La Crosse, and we hope to break ground soon on a home on the north side. For my first clip, I have our executive director, Kaya Fox, introducing the organization and just saying a little bit about what Habitat for Humanity does in the area. So Carrie, if you want to go ahead and play that one.
My name is Kaya Fox, and I'm the Executive Director here at Habitat for Humanity La Crosse area. Habitat for Humanity is a nonprofit affordable housing program that serves families in La Crosse, Vernon, and Trempealeau counties in Wisconsin, and also Houston County in Minnesota. And we provide a variety of different programs in our communities to help low-income families have safe and affordable housing. The biggest program that we have absolutely is our new home construction program. And this is where we build new or remodel existing homes for low-income families so that they can be first-time homeowners. And this is the majority of the work that we do in our community. And we build beautiful homes in our communities that help provide economic development for the community in which we are building, and also wealth and stability for our families. And our homes are built to superior energy standards. So in the state of Wisconsin, all of our homes are either built or remodeled to focus on energy certification standards. And then in the state of Minnesota, we build to Energy Star certification. So not only do we have these lovely homes, but we also have very warm and energy efficient homes for our families. We also have our critical home repair program. This is a program that focuses on repairs for existing low-income homeowners. So we use volunteer labor as often as possible to go into homes and keep families safe in their homes. And we focus specifically on accessibility type repairs and emergency repairs. We also have our neighborhood revitalization programs that help make our communities even better places to live, work, and play. And we do that through our Neighbors Day program that helps elderly and disabled residents get their yards ready for spring, and our Renew program that helps focus efforts into blocks to transform those neighborhoods into really vibrant areas for people to live and to visit and enjoy. And then we also have our Reclaim program that obviously is a wonderful new program at Habitat that provides removing of items from businesses and homes to be sold at the ReStore. And then if you guys haven't been here, the Habitat ReStore is a really unique place that you can find discounted home goods and construction materials, and all of the profits from the sales of those materials are actually going towards Habitat's mission. So when you shop at the ReStore, you know every dollar goes right back into your community. So we have a lot of things that we do here at Habitat for Humanity. Obviously, we really focus on the idea of safe and affordable housing for everyone, but we have all these lovely benefits that come through that, and many of them have a beautiful environmental impact on our communities. So when you support Habitat for Humanity, you're supporting a wide range of efforts that we're doing and a wide range of individuals that we help every single year. So for example, Habitat for Humanity helps over 300 individuals every single year. We have over 1,000 volunteers that provide over 10,000 volunteers hours for us, and we just provide families with that idea of home in our community.
Unmute here. Okay, I think I'm back. Habitat for Humanity is locally run. I did not mention that. So when you support Habitat for Humanity in La Crosse, that support stays local. I don't remember how many chapters there are now. There was somewhere over 900. I've worked for 3 chapters myself. It's a great organization, and the benefits stay local. Now, ReStores came about a little bit later. The first ReStore was actually in 1993 in Winnipeg, Canada. And they developed in Canada a little bit earlier than in the United States. The first store in the United States came about a year and a half later, totally independently in Austin, Texas. And so they kind of developed then in the South, and then the first store in Wisconsin was put in Madison, and I believe that was in 2002. So ReStores are a relatively new phenomenon. For those of you who haven't been to a ReStore, we are similar in a lot of respects to a typical thrift store, except for that we tend to focus on hard goods. And what I mean by that is we really don't carry clothing or bedding or that kind of thing. We do get into furniture and households, but we're kind of known for is building materials. So I think we'll go ahead and we'll try out our little tour here. It's about 4.5 minutes, just to kind of give you some sense of what's going, of how it's laid out and what it looks like on the inside. We just felt with the store open today, we weren't going to be able to do sort of like a live virtual tour. So Carrie, if you don't mind queuing that one up for me. Thank you. Good morning. Welcome to the Habitat ReStore. We're closed today, but I think I'm going to take you on a little private tour quick and show you a few things in the store. Why don't you come inside? here we are. As I said, we're not open yet today, but this is our furniture section, and thought you might want to see some of the things we have for sale. I know many of you have been in here before. We'll just kind of walk through. So at the Habitat ReStore, we're well known for building materials, but what you may not know is that we also carry a ton of household goods, dishware, knickknacks, pictures, framed art. You can find all kinds of household goods at the Habitat ReStore. And obviously you see behind me tons of furniture as well. Welcome again. I've got a great idea for you if you want to reduce your own carbon footprint. Shop at the Habitat ReStore. In 2018 alone, 37.4 million tons of durable goods were dumped into our landfills. By buying used, you keep things in use. But if you don't want to buy used, how about donate? Everything at the Habitat ReStore is donated, and to make things even better, we have a truck that will go out and pick up things for free. So call the Habitat ReStore if you need something picked up. We're now in the receiving room. This is where all the magic happens. Some would call it the heart of the ReStore. Some might call it sausage factory. What we hope is that when we get the items in, we make them ready for sale. As I mentioned before, everything is donated and comes in through one of these two docks. Adam's out here getting ready for us to open in a bit. Patty's behind us pricing small stuff. Almost every item that comes into the store does need something done with it. Measured, stickered, cleaned, sorted, in some cases recycled. I'll talk a little bit more about recycling later. We are located right by the landfill, so if you have items you're thinking about getting rid of, you can stop here on your way to the landfill. So we're conveniently located right on Highway 16, which is great for shopping as well. Okay, so we'll go right into the closing part of the tour, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more about ReStore. Well, that about wraps up our brief tour of the Habitat ReStore. Hopefully you'll stop on in when we're open, and feel free to ask questions at the end of this presentation about anything you heard today. Thank you. All right. Well, nobody's going to steal me away to Hollywood. So back at it. Couple other things I did want to add about the ReStore tour itself. You saw Patty there waving in the background. Over half of our labor force is volunteer. They do a variety of tasks at the ReStore, from cashiering, processing items in the back room. They help out with the driver on pickups. They also do some things behind the scenes, such as doing data entry and helping as interns. So the Habitat ReStore really does rely pretty heavily on volunteers, and it's one of the reasons why our store hours are shorter than maybe say a Goodwill that relies more heavily on paid staff. I'll mention it again because it really bears emphasizing. Everything in our store is donated. There are thrift stores out there now that purchase quite a bit of stuff, and that sort of helps them augment their sales, but it also isn't reuse. And in a lot of cases, it isn't even product that's maybe sustainably produced. So our store is still 100% donated merchandise. That means for the shopper that you're never going to know what you're going to find there until you visit. And it's an adventure for the employees and volunteers as well. Unlike a traditional retailer, we don't have typical planograms, sort of corporate dictates about how things are going to be set up. Everything is sort of read and react, and it's the La Crosse community that supplies the product. We're not bringing stuff in from overseas or from out of area typically at all. It's coming right here locally in La Crosse. Wanted to mention our Reclaim program, and I have a little clip about that as well. Reclaim is something that we've just kind of gotten into in the last year or two. Reclaim is a type of deconstruction where we go into existing buildings and we remove items that would be demolished if the building was going to be torn down, or if the business or home is going to be remodeled. So we're not tearing down the buildings, we're going in there and we're salvaging the useful items that can be saved for the ReStore. So let's go ahead and play that clip next.
One of the newest programs we have here at Habitat for Humanity La Crosse area is our Reclaim program. This is a beautiful program that goes into homes and businesses that are either about to be demolished or undergoing major rehabilitation. And we take our volunteers into those locations and we pull out all of the usable items that we think we can sell here at the Habitat ReStore. So we pull out flooring, we pull out hot water heaters, plumbing fixtures, electrical fixtures, doors, windows, you name it. If we think we can sell it, our volunteers will take it out. It's a win-win-win program for everybody involved. Not only does it divert materials from the landfill, so for example in 2020 we diverted over 50 tons of materials from the landfill, but it also saves money on construction costs for the homeowner or the business owner, and they also get a tax donation receipt for the items that they donated through the Reclaim program. And then the beautiful thing is that we get to sell those items at a wonderful discount to the community and raise funds to further the mission here at Habitat for Humanity. So if you want to learn more about the Reclaim program, you can go to our website and you can stop by the ReStore, and any item with a blue ticket is specifically items that have been reclaimed from businesses and homes in our community.
All right. Thank you for that. I want to also say that, like, if you're a homeowner and you're going to replace your kitchen cabinets, one thing that you can do is you can contact us. We'll remove the cabinets before your installer comes in to replace them. So it's not just things that are going to be destroyed necessarily, but it's really just another avenue to take things that have life in them and get them to somebody else who can use them. So I'm really excited about that program. It's still very new, but we've already done about a dozen projects. And I just talked to our reclaim person yesterday, and he said that he's got 7 more leads. So it's very exciting. All right, so let's throw up the Prezi quick here. We just got a brief Prezi, and we'll try to wrap up here in about 35 after. All right. So Casey mentioned it on the front end. You know, the ReStore really is sort of a reuse initiative in of itself. It's a social entrepreneurship where we are using the market to give things new life. Items that might otherwise be disposed of, we're selling, we're using the profits to fund our nonprofit mission, and then we're keeping the stuff out of the landfill in the process. So I just wanted to kind of touch on a few other areas within the ReStore that, you know, aren't on the tour. Let's go ahead and advance this slide one. Reuse through retail operations. So, I mean, it is fundamental to what we do. Everything we take in here has been discarded from someone. Even if it's new, it's a product that was going to be gotten rid of. Last year, in a pandemic year, we had over 17,000 sales. That's a slow year for us. We're typically in the 24 to 26,000 sales transactions per year. We are a relatively busy outfit even by ReStore standards. Last year, we diverted about 351 tons or 28 school buses. Over the lifetime of the ReStore, we have diverted about 3,700 tons. Our biggest sellers by far are furniture. We also sell a lot of cabinets, doors, home decor, and I thought I saw popping up on a question, hardwired lights. Yes, we do take lights that are non-fluorescents. So lighting is probably our 6th biggest seller. So just in our day-to-day operations, we are trying to keep things out of the landfill. I think one of the dirty little secrets about thrift stores in general is that there is a lot of trash created. I had the CEO of one organization that I won't mention specifically tell me that they throw away over 70% of what they get donated. While we don't have a scale to weigh exactly what we keep and what we throw away, we are in the over 80% kept as opposed to 70% thrown. Partly because we feel like throwing away is kind of wasteful and disrespectful to the donor, but also in the nature of what we sell. We're tending to sell bigger, heavier things. We do have to be a bit more judicious on the front end about what we bring in. Let's go ahead and jump to the next one quick. So we also do quite a bit of recycling here. Brian's posing with the light that he is taking apart. We do some like typical residential recycling, such as cardboard, plastic, glass bottles, paper, you know, just the kind of the general household stuff. But metal is a big one for us. Even in a pandemic year, we hauled in 23,000 pounds of scrap and precious metal ourselves. Plus we had a metal container that isn't weighed that also got emptied every other week. So we were pulling quite a bit of metal out. This is done by our volunteers. They'll take items that either are broken, there's a code issue, or some other reason why we can't sell it. And then they'll strip the various types of wire, copper, brass. It really helps us on a number of levels. You know, one, this stuff isn't going into the landfill, which is crazy at this point with metal prices as what they are. It gives us a slight revenue stream, but it also reduces our dumpster costs as well. So we're not putting it in our dumpsters either. So it's really win-win-win. The couple volunteers that do it seem to love taking it apart. It's a guilty pleasure of my own when I have time, is taking apart old ceiling fans. So that's the recycling, and we do have a devoted space for it. So you can't see it in the pictures there, but we have bins in a sort of a garage space, like a stall and a half size garage space for recycling. Let's go ahead and flip to Soak It Up. Okay, so that's kind of the operations, but we also sort of like believe in it in a more general sense, even independent of our operations. And one of the things we did is we took part in a project called Soak It Up. We actually participated with Sustainability Institute's Empower program when we did this project. And basically what we're trying to do is educate the community about the negative effects of stormwater runoff. So when you come out to the ReStore, there's signage all around the property that sort of like explains the little things that we've done. I have some pictures up that some examples. In the upper left, there is some examples of alternative like parking space or alternatives to pavement. This allows the water to soak into the spots. In the middle there, they're putting in a biofilter. And biofilters are great because what they do is they collect the water and then using natural local vegetation, native vegetation, filtering that water before it is reaching our stormwater system carrying pollutants. At the bottom in the center, you have some kids planting some stuff for our raised beds. We had them active again last year. And then over on the lower right, it's just a typical erosion prevention. But what also this does is slows the water down so that when it reaches the ditch there on the east side of the building, the water slowed down, more of it soaks into the soil. So those are just a few of the examples of things that we've done out there. There are some others that I didn't get pictures of. But Soak It Up was a big thing for us, and I would encourage you to take a look at it now that the weather is a little bit nicer. Let's go forward to the next one. Looks like I'm down to 2 minutes, so let's make it quick here. We did put in solar last year. For the solar geeks out there that want to know a little bit about the stuff, there's some product information. Talk about the numbers just for a minute. Estimated production value is on the front end where they talk about what they think the system will produce over the lifetime of the product. The cost, interestingly enough, that is what it would have been had we actually paid for it, but we did not pay for it. We had a generous donor that offered to pay most of the costs minus the grant revenue we received. So for us, it was truly a no-brainer, but it benefits us in a variety of ways. We did get the program up online in late September, so we haven't gotten to see how it works yet with the summer sun and longer daylight hours. But so far, our CO2 emissions saved is about 34,000 pounds. That is also approximately the value of CO2 offset that 260 planted trees would provide. And one of the cool things about this solar thing is I can go right to my phone and look up how it's doing. I can even look at the individual performance of individual panels. So if I've got a shadow for some reason or a failing panel, I can see that it's producing less and send some up to do something about it. The estimated return on investment, if we were to have actually paid for the project, would be about 2.6 times the project cost. So it makes sense even if it isn't free. But again, it's something that really just fits into our values here at Habitat. And then let's go on to the last one. So this is probably one of our newest programs, Habitat How To. It's really something to get people inspired to take things that they've either purchased at the ReStore or had on their own to do their own do-it-yourself projects and promote reuse in general. How do they do that? They do it in a variety of ways. And now there's a few picture examples. Down in the lower left is a product that they purchased at the ReStore and made an artwork out of it. The next picture is from one of their craft brew nights, where we'll teach a workshop on how to make something specific out of stuff that we culled from the ReStore. In the lower right, they have that another picture from a similar event. And then we have a Pinterest page. We have art classes. We have a blog. So there's a lot of stuff going on with that. We have a couple of different staff people. In fact, I think Pam is on this call today. She's been involved with it, and a number of really committed volunteers. So that's an exciting new program, and we're hoping to produce some things that maybe we can even sell in the ReStore too, kind of just closing that loop all around. So I realize I kind of flown through a whole ton of things in a pretty short period of time. We calling it a ReStore tour for a reason. It's not a deep dive into our operations, but I hope you enjoyed some of what you got to see and hear today. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. Thank you.
So Steve, thank you very much for the tour. Yeah, we've got a couple of questions coming in here. A couple around just your inventory. Do you still sell old tools?
Yeah, we do sell old hand tools and some power tools if we think we can test them.
A question about fluorescent lights from Pete. So have fluorescent lights, housings only, no tubes, and they're hold on here. The question just jumped here. There's steel and the ballasts that are clearly marked no PCBs. Is that okay for Habitat to recycle?
Yeah, we would recycle them. You know, it's crazy with lights. I mean, I guess I'm getting old now, but you know, when I started, all it was incandescents and halides, and then the compact fluorescent came along, and everybody jumped on that. And then, like 5 years later, LED came, and the market has just really shifted dramatically. So we no longer try to sell a lot of compacts or fluorescents, but we do recycle them if there's no PCBs in them.
Just a comment from Pam here that Habitat's going to be doing a virtual class in April using paint pour technique to transform tiles into coasters. Where would people find that? Is that on a website or?
So on the Prezi, I had the website up, but you can just go to habitatlacrosse.org, and then over on the right hand side, there's like a ReStore pull down, and it's located there. Oh, look at that.
Great, and the link is in the text box or in the chat box, and we will also have a link to that on the Sustainability Institute website blog. So be on the lookout for that in a day or two. How far out do you travel to do reclaims?
Yeah, so our service territory is 4 counties currently. It is La Crosse County, Vernon County, Trempealeau County, and Houston County, Minnesota. Now, outside of that, we do have to get permission to do work. So if we are in the Winona service territory, for instance, they may do that project themselves, or they may refer it to us.
Do you have a list of things that you will accept and things that you won't accept?
Yeah, so on the Habitat La Crosse website, on the same ReStore tab, there is a donate. And then within that page, it's kind of buried in there, but there's also a PDF that has more like detailed information. As you can imagine, there's a ton of different types of building products. So if you have any questions, feel free to shoot us an email or stop by.
Steve, I know in the past you've had some pretty cool partnerships with different organizations, you know, with the city and with the landfill. Are you still partnered with the landfill to reclaim things?
Yeah, so the landfill refers people to us, and we to the landfill. We also have a little brochure that kind of highlights our partnership, and we dialogue with them on a regular basis. We put up signage. Whoa, I guess I just about lost my place there. Where was it? We had some signage that we put up to sort of highlight, you know, come to the ReStore before you dump it in the landfill. So it's a good relationship because, you know, we feel like we're a stop before the landfill. So you may have stuff you want to donate that maybe isn't suitable, or some of the stuff you have isn't, and so you can make one trip and kind of do the one stop, and then come on in the front end and buy some more.
And then Steve, finally, how can someone volunteer at the ReStore?
That's a wonderful question. So again, he keep beating the same drum, but the Habitat La Crosse website also has on it a volunteer tab with an online inquiry form. I'm kind of old school. I probably would just stop in the store and ask somebody if I could speak to someone about volunteering, and that works too. We have paper volunteer applications. Someone who volunteers at the Habitat ReStore doesn't have to exclusively stay with the ReStore either. Some of our folks will kind of move around from the job site to the store, so you can kind of get some different experiences that way.
Great. Well, Steve, again, thank you so much for being with us today and for sharing the great stuff that the Habitat ReStore is doing. It's pretty impressive, just everything that you've got your hands on, and the just the sheer amount of junk that you're diverting, right? And turning, not only, I shouldn't say junk because it turns into other people's treasures. I know I've used the ReStore for several things around our house, and it's just both the pickup service and just going to get stuff from the ReStore. And it's really a great service to have here in La Crosse. So if you haven't, people who are in this meeting, if you haven't been out to the ReStore before, do go out and check it out. There's just some great stuff going on there. So again, Steve, thank you so much for sharing your work. Before everyone takes off, just a few final announcements here. Please take a few moments right now to take a brief anonymous survey. It'll pop up on your screen here in just a second. And that survey will just let us know about your experience today. So we'll give you 30 seconds or so. And as you're taking that, just want to share that April is a big month for us at the Sustainability Institute. We are really excited to bring you the Earth Fair. Last year, the Earth Fair, as you may know, was canceled because of COVID. But this year, we're trying to bring it back here, and it'll be a week-long virtual celebration running from April 19th through the 25th. We'll have a lot of details up on our website, the Sustainability Institute website, around March 17th. So be sure to check those out. We do know that there'll be activities and virtual events and virtual music and all sorts of great things going on throughout that week. We do know that that as part of the Earth Fair, the Sustainability Institute is going to be hosting a sustainability chat focused on the Drift Bike Share program that's going to be launching throughout downtown La Crosse in April. So if you've been to Minneapolis or Milwaukee or Madison or Wisconsin Rapids or Stevens Point, I believe, they have bike shares throughout their community. Well, La Crosse is now getting one. And so that'll be launching in April. We'll have a chat with the people that are bringing that to us as part of the Earth Fair. That's on the 20th at 2 p.m. We've also partnered with the La Crosse Distilling Company on Monday, April 19th for Make a Difference Monday. And that's where 10% of any food or beverage purchase at the La Crosse Distilling Company on the 19th will go to benefit the Sustainability Institute. And that includes to-go, that includes dining outside. So please come on down, support La Crosse Distilling Company, and in doing so, you'll also help support the Sustainability Institute. Plus, I think Carrie or I will probably be there most of the time. So come and join us. It'll be a good time. And finally, speaking of supporting the Sustainability Institute, free programming like this isn't possible without our member support. So a special thank you and shout out to Raj Schnick, who I believe is on this call, and to Lee Rosh for their generous membership contributions. If you like what we're doing and you want to help support the shared vision that we all have, to bring about a cleaner and safer and healthier and more vibrant driftless area, then please do consider becoming a member. We've got a variety of membership levels, so find one that fits with what you're comfortable giving, and become a member today. It's really easy to do. Just go to our website, sustaininstitute.com, and you'll find a button there that says become a member. Click on that, and you get the process started. It's really, really quick and painless. So that brings us to the end of this sustainability chat. Thank you once again to Steve Baker and the Habitat for Humanity ReStore for sharing your story with us and inspiring us and showing us what sustainability can look like here in the Driftless. And thank you to everyone for joining us today. We hope that we'll see you in April. Have a great day.